right, so I'm right now getting everything set up, so please forgive me if it takes a little bit of time, but we are about to get started. I'm excited because this is the first live stream we've done in probably what, like 3-4 weeks? Oh god, I'm so sorry about this, guys, but we're getting started right now. Hopefully you guys enjoy today's live stream, and here we go. I have to do a couple more things. Instagram is being stupid, but I'm just going to share out the live stream, and then we're going to get started. All right. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. If there's any problems with like sound or anything like that, please let me know. I'm just sending off right now everything. Okay. Hope you guys are having a great day so far. I know I am. Hey, Peter, how's it going? Oh, this is so interesting. I don't know why. One second, let me refresh this page. Hopefully everything is going to be okay once I refresh it. Thanks, Peter. Glad that I sound good. I'm just going through and just sharing out the links on social media. For some reason, YouTube is like showing all the old information. Okay, there we go. So now they're starting to show all the new information. Just want to go ahead and share this with everybody so we can get a good amount of people in here. How's everybody's Friday going so far? Hey Barry, thanks for joining me. Anyone else having some weird issues with Instagram? I know that a lot of people have been reporting that there's like a big outage going on right now. I've been trying to let's see, it's gonna try for like the umpteenth time to post. Oh, it finally did it. It finally just posted onto Instagram. I've been trying to post for like the last half an hour this one image promoting today's live stream, and for some reason it was not working. No problem, Peter. Always glad to help. Always glad to help a friend. All right. So let's see. It looks like there might be a good bit of a delay here, but that's okay. Hopefully you guys are excited about today. So actually, before I take a sip of my Perrier, let me say that today's live stream is going to be featuring a few different things. Today we're going to be going through one of my favorite drawing exercises, which I call my Freestyle Drawing exercise. I know, unique title. I'm also going to be answering some questions that people have asked in the past. I've got a long list of AMA questions that I'm always asked. And then, of course, I'm also going to field questions from all of you amazing people as well. The final thing that we're going to do is we're going to go through and do a portfolio review. And so in order for you to enter your stuff to be reviewed in the portfolio review, all you have to do is just click down in the link down in the show notes and submit your work. It is www.rockyrourke.com/live-stream-Friday. Just go follow that link and you can go ahead and submit your portfolio to be reviewed live today during the live stream. Okay, now I'm going to take a sip of my water, so I apologize. But yeah, I'm sorry that it's been so long since I've done one of these live streams. I realize it's been close to a month, and I really apologize for that. It's because of all the traveling I was doing. First, I was up in Yosemite at Epicurrent's Winter Work Week. Then I was over in San Francisco, live streaming with Adobe Live. And so there's just been so much going on that I've been playing catch up for the last 2 weeks. And so even today is going to be completely slam jam packed. After this live stream, I'm going to be doing Instagram Live where I'm going to be answering even more questions. And then I have to go and drive an hour away to go pick up a check from a client and talk about a new project. So it's like today is going to be crazy. Who else is having also a crazy Friday? Am I the only one? Oh, Peter. Like quenching my thirst. I've got 2 Perriers right here. I've got my Hydro Flask full of water. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to be quenching my thirst this time. Whenever you do these live streams, and you know, Peter, because you were on Adobe Live, so you know how it feels like when you're having to talk for 2 hours straight. You know, it can be very, very demanding, and it can take a lot out of you. I am going to ask everybody who's in the channel right now, please share out the link to this live stream on social media. Let's try and get a lot more people in here. If you know someone who could really use some help with like getting their portfolio reviewed or anything like that, please let me know down. Please no, don't let me know. Please share the link with them. Hey, Laura, glad that you can make it this time. All right, I had some Perrier. Now let me have some water. Okay, so again, the first thing that we're going to be talking about in today's live stream is going to be one of my favorite drawing exercises. I just simply call it my freestyle drawing exercise. It's something that I first shared with people at my Epicurrence Winter Work Week workshop on vector illustration, and people really loved it. For me, I find that doodling is definitely something that is very big for me. I'm always constantly doodling and just like pushing the limits to things. And so I always try and spend like anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes every day or every other day just like drawing for myself, just doodling, sketching. I use the iPad Pro here to do all my digital doodling and sketching. So this is what we're going to be using today. You don't have to have an iPad Pro in order to do this exercise. You can use a regular sheet of paper. But the important thing is here, the reason why I'm talking about this exercise is because I want to instill in all of you this like drive to try something new, to push yourselves, to doodle more, to draw more. I feel like I've read numerous studies that say that doodling actually helps you in multiple ways. Number one, it helps to relieve stress. It helps get all of those things that are in your mind, clouding yourself up, out onto paper and out of, get you like out of your stress bubble. It also helps to relieve stress by just allowing you to use your creativity where you might not normally be able to. It also helps in increasing memory as well. I know when I was a kid, I used to do a lot of doodling while I took notes and things like that, and teachers would penalize me for it. Now we're seeing that doodling actually helps for you to retain knowledge. It helps to somehow infuse with like the creativity. You're like creating something and you're able to absorb more information as you are creating. So it's really interesting. I don't know the full scientist. I am not a scientist. I'm not Bill Nye. I'm not, Neil deGrasse Tyson. I'm not none of those guys. But I think it's really cool to hear those things. Let's see. Hi, Hamid. I think that's how you pronounce your name. Am I good at figure drawing? I don't know. I mean, like, I don't say I'm really good at figure drawing. I say that I can do a little bit of it, but not that much. Like, I've in the past done a few little, like, figure drawing exercises. But for the most part, like, for one, I always start with stick figures when I draw bodies and figures and characters and things like that. In fact, there's a YouTube video that you can check out later that actually shows how you can use stick figures to create figures. So, but yeah, if you guys have, by the way, if you guys have any questions while we're doing this exercise or the other things that we're going to be doing, please, ask away. Ask questions within this chat. I love hearing your guys' questions. I love, finding new topics and things like that. Like I said, like all these questions that we're not gonna go through all of them, but these all questions came from AMAs from Instagram. So I love when people ask questions, and if someone who is going to stick around for the whole live stream, if you guys hear me mention a question, if you could please write that down, send it off to me. I will send you guys a gift for whoever, excuse me, can take on to that responsibility. So thank you guys so much if you guys can do that. All right, so we're gonna switch gears, but before, actually, one more interruption before I get back to talking about daily drawing, or excuse me, freestyle freestyle drawing exercise. Let me just remind you guys that there is going to be a portfolio review today. I will be reviewing up to 3 portfolios during my live stream, at the end of the live stream. And in order for you to submit to be a part of this portfolio review, all you have to do is fill out the form on the link below. There's a link in the show notes. There should be one that basically talks about, it says submit your portfolios for today's portfolio review. Just submit to that. I am going to go through probably at around noon, in less than an hour, and just make sure to see how many submissions we have. We may do more than 3. We may do only 3. It just depends on how much time we have, how many submissions there are, and everything. But I will be going through and giving a portfolio review this live stream, and hopefully in future live streams. So please go submit for the portfolio review. Let's see. Hamid, I've seen lots of your videos. They're all amazing. Thank you so much, Hamid. Roland, hi Rocky. I found you through the Adobe live streams. You are great. Love your work. Thank you so much, Roland. Thank you for watching the Adobe live streams. I love those guys. I love being on the live stream. Hopefully I'm going to be back again real soon. We'll see. I have to talk to some people about that. But you know what? I think it's time to jump into the daily drawing lesson of today, which is the freestyle drawing exercise. So let's go ahead and jump in. Bach asks, what's the cheaper alternative to the iPad Pro? I mean, cheaper one for newbies. Actually, hold on. Let me jump back to the webcam for a second. So just to answer that quick question, by the way, I get sidetracked really easily, so I apologize. But to answer that quick question, if you don't have a lot of money to spend, if you don't want to go full hog and get an iPad Pro, then I would suggest maybe looking into getting a Wacom tablet. If you plan on doing a lot of digital drawing and digital sketching and things like that, the iPad Pro is the best bet for you. And don't worry if you do not, take up digital drawing. You can easily jump right back. You can just use the iPad as, a video screen or something like that. So don't worry, you're good. All right, so let's jump back into the drawing exercise. Oh, there it is. I was looking for my my Apple Pencil. All right, so for me, I'm going to show you guys a couple of my daily drawing exercises I've done in the past. Let's see. Here's a good one. This was a daily drawing exercise that I did a while back. Basically, I started with, I believe, this face right here. And I just started drawing a couple different faces. I drew a dog's face. I drew plants, ice cream because I really want some ice cream. This character, which somehow keeps creeping up into my sketches. TV because I was watching Netflix. Just a whole bunch a variety of different things. Things that I just popped up in my head. Let's go. Let's see. Here's another one as well. For some reason, I always tend to draw a lot of faces. Whenever I do these daily, these freestyle drawing exercises, these are the type of things that I tend to draw. But to go over a little bit of what a daily, a freestyle drawing exercise is, let me first go ahead and grab in a new artboard for you guys. So to explain what exactly the freestyle drawing exercise is, basically, if you guys went to college, or if you guys are in the design world, you probably heard of something called stream of consciousness, where it's an exercise where you basically take a sheet of paper and you start writing. You write one word and then you start writing the next word that comes into your head over. You just keep on going and going and going and going until you've filled up an entire page of different words or thoughts or things like that. Now, what those are used for normally is those are used for like coming up with ideas for projects, especially if you're starting off trying to build a portfolio. You use a stream of consciousness exercise in order to build your portfolio with different projects. What we're going to be doing here is we're going to be doing something similar, but with drawing and doodling. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to basically just draw whatever comes out of our head, whatever, we think about. So I'm going to try and, express to you what it is that's coming into my head as I'm creating my my doodle. So if you guys want to follow along, if you guys want to create your own, like start drawing and things like that, please by all means do that. I love that. So we're going to jump back into the iPad Pro. All right, so I have the touch on here so you guys can see my gestures and things like that. All right, so like I said before, whenever I start these things, I don't know why, but I always start to draw I start to draw faces. I'm going to decrease the size of this because it's a bit big. There we go. So I always start by drawing faces. Why? I don't know. Maybe it's because faces is what I'm used to. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go into my settings because I can't have this show touch. It's driving me crazy. Okay. So I draw faces first. It's like a great lead-in into what I'm going to be drawing, I guess. A lot of times I will just draw, nothing but faces. And honestly, like, I don't set out to draw anybody. It's just, whatever pops into my head. So, like, this guy right here, I'm thinking, to myself, I'm like, hopefully these people are going to like today's live stream video. Hopefully people are going to submit their portfolios to be reviewed. I'm like excited to see everybody's portfolios. I'm also excited because I am doing a contest. It's not a contest exclusive to the live stream, but anyone who is watching this live stream can definitely submit to it. I'm giving away a free pass to Creative South 2018, which happens April 12th to the 14th in Columbus, Georgia. I purchased my pass last year while I was at Creative South 2017, and then I was asked to put on a workshop. So the workshop, because of that, I got a free pass for myself, so I had an extra one. And unfortunately, my friends who I tried to get to come with me, they could not come this year, so I had an extra pass. And I was like, okay, what better than to have a little contest? So in order to win that free pass to Creative South 2018, all you have to do is just sign up for my mailing list. And there's a link down in the show notes below if you want to go and do that. If you're already signed up for my mailing list, you are already entered to win. And how we're going to do is I'm going to announce the winner next week during the live stream. If that person, cannot make it to Creative South, then a runner-up will be chosen. I'm going to have a couple of runner-ups just in case we run into a situation where nobody can go to, just in case like the first two people cannot go to Creative South. But yeah, so that's a little contest if you guys want to enter in on that. Again, for those people who are just joining us, we are doing a freestyle drawing exercise. This is one of my favorite drawing exercises to practice with, to try new things out. To try like different styles out, to practice lettering, things like that. Is there anyone else out there who is also practicing along with me? Okay, let's see. I think I'm going to actually draw a figure. All my figures always start with stick figures. Super, super rough. Let's see. I think I want to do a little bit of a... I want to do a tree here. Just some like rough guides for me. Sometimes I'll use guides, sometimes I'll completely freehand it. I think for this it would be cool for you guys to actually see like how I would go about doing this. Hey Kathleen, welcome to the live stream today. Is there anyone out there who's submitting for the portfolio review today? Wow, 19 people in the stream. This is awesome. I think the most people I've ever seen on the live stream at once was probably 24 or 25. So it's always cool to see so many people coming in for the live stream. Okay, getting the bushes done here. Okay, I see that we have a couple questions in here. First, thanks Garrett. Thank you so much for that compliment. Really means a lot. Alright, let's first talk about Hamid's question. Okay, so Hamid asks, Rocky, I'm trying to develop a certain style based on an animation, but I can't find enough resources to get inspired. What would you suggest? So, when you say an animation, are you talking about you're looking to create an animation, or are you looking like based on an animation you've already seen? If you actually go and you go onto Pinterest, and you go to my if you actually search for my name, Rocky Rourke, you'll find my Pinterest account, and you'll find I have an inspiration folder filled with over 8,000 illustration inspiration pieces, and you can completely go in there. You can look through that for inspiration. There's so many different styles that I'm sure that you would find one that works for you. Also, I also have in there an animation inspiration folder as well. So you can definitely check out those resources. That should definitely help you out. Let's see. Mark Lewis asks, disability makes using a pen tablet difficult. What do you recommend honing practicing your using the mouse? Any resources for? Thanks. Okay, so first off, I'm sorry that you're limited that way. I would say so. Whenever like it also depends on the style too. If you try to do a style like this, unfortunately, I don't know if you'll be able to do it. But like if you go for a flat illustration style, you can use like a trackpad or a mouse to create illustrations. In fact, I have many videos on my YouTube channel where I'm just using a mouse to create things. So it really, it comes down to practice. A lot of people are amazed when they see that I can do so many illustrations with nothing but my trackpad on my MacBook Pro. So I think that if you were to just spend some time practicing using it, it should definitely help. Let's see, Roland, what's your take on the importance of gesture drawing? Is it absolutely necessary to master it before moving forward drawing figures? I have a hard drawing them fast and with a few lines. So as you could see in the original, like this character right here that I was drawing, like a lot of times, I honestly like I love watching people do gesture drawing. I don't do gesture drawing really that much. Like you can see here, like what I'll sometimes do is, let's say I'm looking at someone who is like, got their chest puffed out, and they've got this like weird stance about them or something like that. Like maybe they're arms on their hips and they're like, what do I want to do? Like, I'll do stuff like this. This is the closest thing to gesture drawing that I do, is by doing stuff like this. And, like, we can go in and make it super loose and try and, like, get the proportions right and everything like that. But I don't, like, you don't have to master gesture drawing. Like, I'm even screwing this up, in my opinion. But let's see if I can save this. No matter what, it's always going to be a more cartoony style as I go about it. But let's see how do his hand go about. So like here's a super rough gesture drawing, and it started again, using nothing but a stick figure. Like it's not the best looking gesture drawing, but honestly, like I don't do many gesture drawings myself, and really gesture drawings are just like you start off super loose. I always prefer to add more detail to things, so I think a good illustrator to check out for gesture drawing is actually Steven Silver. Steven Silver, spelled just like that. He's an amazing illustrator, character designer. He actually created the characters for Fairly Odd Parents, Kim Possible, Clerks, and a few other shows. He's a really, really talented illustrator. I would check out his gesture drawing stuff because he is really, really good at it. Let's see. Think about investing in an iPad Pro. Not sure if I should wait for the next generation to be released so that I can get the current model for a little less. Okay, so so let me, with that question or that statement, CircWorks. Let me tell you guys what happens to me a lot. A lot of times I will go out and buy a new Apple product, specifically things like my first iPhone or a MacBook Pro, and then a month later Apple comes out with an even better version for close to the exact same amount of money. So I would look first before you go out and buy an iPad Pro, whether or not there's going to be a new one coming out. I don't know if there's going to be one coming out anytime soon because they came out with the second generation one just like maybe 6 months ago. I could be wrong, but I think that it might be good for you to wait on that. Let's see. Good questions, by the way, guys. Great questions. Keep them coming. But yeah, with this like freestyle drawing exercise, this is meant to be nothing but fun. But fun for you guys. This is like all this is meant to be. It's meant to get you to start drawing more. It's meant to just like keep things going. It's meant to push you as well, because like you're gonna see stuff and you're gonna be like, okay, I need to work on this or I need to work on that. So you guys can see like what I'm drawing is like it's really almost completely nonsense. It's just whatever comes up in my head. And that's okay. Like it's okay to just draw random things. So this is basically how like the whole freestyle drawing exercise happens. It's just drawing and practicing random things, whatever basically pops in your head. So for instance, I just happen to think about the fact that I haven't had soda in close to an over 8 years. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna draw a quick soda can. Super rough, super dirty. Or the fact that right now there are birds chirping outside of my studio window. And so I'm just drawing a quick little bird. So it's just like, it's meant to be complete fun. And then sometimes what I'll do is, while I'm trying to think of more things to draw, I'll just like draw little shapes to fill in the extra little space here. Because you don't always want to have so many little drawings. So it's good to just like have little things to help fill up space. At least that's what I do. You don't have to follow everything that I say, but sometimes it's fun just to draw little stars or a heart or things like that. So how you guys feeling about the freestyle drawing exercise? Did anyone else create some fun little illustrations or doodles? As I take a sip of Perrier. I'll tell you, one of my weaknesses lately, there's this really good bagel place near me. and I just love their muffins. I eat too much of them. Okay, so I think this is enough for the freestyle drawing exercise. I do want to say, though, guys, that I also just started a new Facebook group. I don't know if there's many of you who who are on Facebook much or anything like that, but I did just start a new Facebook group specifically on daily drawing lessons, and it's somewhere where I'm going to be sharing a lot more of these types of lessons and things like that. In fact, I actually wrote out a pretty long little bit about this freestyle drawing exercise. If you guys want to go there and check it out, it is an open group. If you guys want to join in, all you have to do is just request to join, and I will add you guys no matter what. But it's a fun little place where you guys can check it out. I'm pasting in the chat right now the link to the group, so please definitely go check it out. Let's see. So, Sarwar asked, what is the first thing to become a great artist in graphic designing? Oh, God. So, this is what I tell a lot of people, especially people who are just starting off or who are wanting to like get better at design. And that is that in order to get good at design, at art, at whatever it is that you want to do, you have to practice. You have to push yourself. You have to have a drive and passion in what it is that you do. One thing that you guys always will hear me say at the ends of my videos, at the end of my live streams, things like that, you always hear me say these three things. You know, to always remember to be passionate, be positive, and be creative. Because those are three things that you absolutely need to have in order to be successful in what you do. If we look at me, for example, I hate looking at myself, but unfortunately, this is the best thing for me to try and do. I'm very passionate about what I do. It's why I do all these live streams. It's why I do my Instagram stories. It's why I do the AMA Ask Me Anything. You know, it's why I do all of those things. It's because I'm very passionate about what I do, and I'm very passionate about helping all of you achieve the same goals or to be able to get to the level of creativity that you want to be at. Another thing, the whole be positive. I remember someone, I can't remember who, it actually might have been Laura, who's in the chat, asked me on Instagram stories, how do you stay positive all the time? You're always so positive. Like, how in the world are you always this positive? The thing is that I'm not always that positive, but I always show you guys that I am positive. And that's because, you know, in order for me, like, for instance, this is one of my favorite things I've ever had, which is the jar of awesomeness. This jar is filled up with so many amazing things, awesome things that have happened to me over the last year. I'm always adding to it. I usually add maybe 1 to 5 per week of awesome things that happen to me. And basically, this is something that helps me stay positive, because I know that even when like there's a bad time that happens, like let's say a project falls through, or you know, maybe, you know, things didn't end well on a project, or I don't know, maybe I'm not feeling good, or maybe I'm just in a slump, I can take a look at this jar and I can remind myself that, you know, hey, this is just one moment in time. Things are going to get better. Awesome things happen. You know, you just have to be positive and just know that those things, like, things are going to get better. And then finally, the last thing, be creative. You know, there are plenty of times where I don't feel that creative, or I'm in a little creative slump, or I'm going through creative block. Well, I always push through that. I find some way to push through it because I'm passionate about it, and I'm positive that that creativity is going to come back. So all of these things play off of each other. So that kind of like, all those three things, be passionate about, the work that you want to do or the work that you're doing, be positive that you're going to get better, that you're going to, become a great designer or great illustrator or whatever it is you want to do, and be creative. Find a creative way for you to attain those goals, and also just find an outlet for that creativity. Hopefully that answers your question, Sarwar. Let's see. Let me read through the stuff. I'm trying to stay off sugar, so drawing sweet stuff is killing me. Trust me, I know. I'm a big guy. You guys don't really see it too much, but I am a big guy, and like I'm working hard to lose weight and to get healthier. So trust me, Laura, I definitely know what you mean. Let's see. I'm trying to come up with an idea for the drawing. Roland, so one thing that I do a lot is I will, if like I'm had this like creative itch, I will actually go and just start looking through illustration inspiration. And so I'm actually pasting the link to the Pinterest board I mentioned earlier for illustration inspiration. And so you can actually go through there, just start looking and just start like looking at figuring out ideas that you might have just by looking at other people's work. That's the best way if you have like, what in the world should I draw? Or even better, go onto Twitter and look at, what's trending and things like that. That could also help you as well. No worries, Star Wars. Hopefully that all helps out and everything. And also, don't forget, you guys can always ask me questions if you guys need to. I try and respond on Instagram stories. I admit right now I have 15 messages in my Instagram Instagram DM that I need to answer. So, so I always try and respond to people's questions. All right, so let's see what else. Okay, yeah, I mean, and plus, like asking the questions and answering questions. This is all part of, today's live stream as well. So I'm actually going to answer some of these questions on Instagram later in my Instagram stories. But I actually have a couple of questions that people have asked me this week. I always try and I always have AMAs, and some people ask me answer my AMAs on Instagram, and some people answer them on Twitter this week. And so I'm actually going to answer a couple of those for you guys. And so while I'm answering these, you can also ask questions in the chat, and I definitely suggest that you do. And before we jump into any of these things, let's also give let's clap in the chat for Laura for being the queen of pessimists. She also, I think that Laura asks the most questions to me on Instagram stories. I'm calling her out just because I think it's funny. I love her questions. She asks great questions, and she always apologizes to me on Instagram stories for asking so many questions. So please, everybody, give a round of applause to Laura for always asking so many great questions. So let's see. I actually have two different things here for me to go off of. Let's see. All right. So first, we're going to go through, and I've got two questions that came up in my Instagram stories. I know, Laura, you asked a question, and I forgot to write it down. I will answer that on Instagram later. All right. So the first question was, how do you grow your followers on Instagram? So on Instagram, in particular, Instagram is something that I definitely know a lot about when it comes to growing your followers. It's basically, you need to stop doing selfies. You need to stop doing selfies, pictures of your dog. I have a cute dog back here. He's sleeping on his bed and everything like that. But I don't post pictures of him. I don't post pictures of, my fun weekend. Like, I'll do Instagram stories, which is fine. But I post a lot. I started posting back in 2016 a lot of just work-centric Instagram posts. And since then, let's say a year and a half later, I've grown my Instagram account from about 1,000 followers to 18.3 thousand. So 18,300 and something followers. And that's simply because of the fact that I, instead of, focusing on like the fun things that I do, like I still post stuff on Facebook and things like that. Instead, what I started doing was I focused on posting my work and engaging with, my followers and things like that. That's why I do the AMAs, so I can answer people's questions. It also allows me to do a lot more. Another thing is you also have to be very smart about Instagram, because Instagram is constantly changing up their algorithm and how things work. So for instance, and Laura can attest to this, whenever someone comments on one of my posts, I respond to it. I will respond to it with constantly, but for like the first three or 4 hours, and then once another post goes up, then I stop commenting as much. Whoops, sorry, Esteban. I don't know why the link is broken. It shouldn't be broken. Let's see. Whoops. Oh yeah, that is broken. Whoops. Sorry about that. But yeah, so I'll get that fixed while I'm doing this here. Actually, it will be hopefully in a second. One moment. Okay, so hopefully it should be showing up down in the show notes now. Let me know if it isn't, but it should be showing up there. It's facebook.com/groups/drawing, daily drawing lessons, all one word. So, but with Instagram, you always have to respond to comments. You have to show that you're engaged with your audience, because Instagram only will share your post to about 10% of your followers, unless they see that it's getting a lot of engagement and it's getting a lot of likes, it's getting a lot of comments, things like that. Then they will release it to more people. So, hey Helen, hey Horizon. Oh hey Lacey. Sorry, I can't remember how you pronounce your name. By the way, thanks for that video that you sent on Instagram. Cloud, is that how you say your name? Sorry, I'm horrible with pronouncing names. But those are some of the ways that you can increase your followers on Instagram. Just keep posting good pictures about the work that you want, or the things that you want people to know you for. So like for me, I post a lot of illustrations, doodles, things like that. Make sure that you include a ton of hashtags too. Try to keep it below 25 hashtags, and make sure that you give it a little bit of a barrier between the description of what you're saying. You can look at my Instagram account for examples. Always respond to comments, and also engage with your audience. Try and like ask them questions, or have them ask you questions, answer them, and be very thoughtful and very reciprocal. Okay, so the next question, let's look at the ones from Twitter. Let's see. Okay, so this is a good one. The question is, as a freelance illustrator who is building my portfolio right now, should I say no to the good? By good, I mean whatever comes my way, so I can later say yes to the great. By great, I mean work that reflects the work I want to keep doing in the future. Okay, so this question is something big. This is something that a lot of people, ask about. They're like, when I start off, should I say no to like the things that I don't want to work on and things like that, and say yes only to the projects that really reflect what I want to do? Okay, so no. Say yes when you're just starting off as a freelance illustrator, designer, photographer, videographer, whatever it is. When you're just starting off, you need to say yes to as much as possible. Now, within reason, if there's red flags that come up when you're like, uh-oh, this guy probably won't pay me, or uh-oh, this lady, I don't know, she seems a little shady, definitely say no to those gigs. But the important thing is that when you're starting off, you need to be doing as much as possible. You need to be, for one, you have to make money, right? because you have to be able to live. But also you need to create things, now not necessarily things that you want to show, but just creating contacts and things like that, because you never know what those small projects might turn into in the future. A good example of this is when I was in college. I first started doing some work, basically for no money, for a game called Humans vs. Zombies. This was a game that was played, at the time all over the world on college campuses. It was like a big game of tag with Nerf guns and people pretending to be zombies and things like that. And I created promotional posters for my on-campus game for free, printed off myself and everything. And then I went and I submitted them to the Humans vs. Zombies website just to share with them, what I created. A few days later, one of the founders of Humans vs. Zombies reached out to me, and we created this little friendship, and I did some work for them. And when they created their second game, they came to me and they're like, hey, we would love for you to create some illustrations for an email marketing campaign we're doing for Christmas. The game was Cards Against Humanity, which I'm sure most of you in the chat have probably played or at least heard of. And I was able to do a lot with that. I was able to I worked with them for I think 2.5 years. And I forever will be able to say, I worked with Cards Against Humanity. It's something that everybody's going to know. So there's so much that that little projects, the good projects, can lead into, not just great projects, but spectacular projects. So, hi, Felicia. So those are 2 questions. Let me see. Let me go in here and see. I think there was a couple of questions. Let me read through real quick. I feel stuck. Okay, so Esteban, with creating characters, I'm gonna say I can't really say too much about that right this minute, simply because I'm actually putting together a workshop for Creative South this year, strictly on creating new characters. If you email me, I can give you a little bit of information. You can just go to my website and you'll find my email address in there, and I can give you a little bit more information. I just don't want to give too much information about that on the live stream, because there are people who are going to be paying for that workshop, and I imagine that you might not be in a place where you can actually come to Creative South, and I still want to give you a couple of little tips. So please definitely reach out to me, and I'll answer that question privately. Let's see. How can take ideas for drawing best? Sometime I'm getting tiered in this process of drawing. Okay. So let's see. I'm trying to understand your question there, Sarawar. If you could clarify a little bit more, I'll go ahead and answer another question, then I'll come back to you. Okay. Here's another question that was on Twitter. What do you think is the most helpful platform for an illustrator? And this person was talking about social platforms, and so there's numerous answers to this, and this also goes to designers as well, not photographers, actually designers and illustrators. Definitely true, Laura. Okay, so to answer this question, what do you think the most helpful social platform is for an illustrator? I would say the three biggest ones for visual social platforms is, of course, number 1, Instagram. I'm a huge Instagram, buff. I love Instagram. It's something I'm always going to preach, so I apologize if you guys hear it over and over again. And then the other 2 is Dribbble, which is something that you actually need an invite in order to get into. It's more exclusive. And then the other one is Behance, which is Adobe's like portfolio type platform. And so those three are probably the best three to actually show off your work. But when it comes to business and everything, to like actually getting your name out there and getting people to go to those platforms, Twitter is probably actually still your most powerful tool. The reason why I say that is because Twitter, you can actually reach out to actual creatives and not feel like a stalker. You know, so like for instance, to talk about an experience I had when I was in college. It was like my senior year. I was getting close to graduate, and I was like trying to figure out, okay, how in the world am I going to get ahead of the game? You know, get into these studios and agencies and things like that, with like a portfolio that honestly sucked because my college sucked. And so what I started to do was I started to look up, you know, the creative directors, art directors of agencies near me that I really admired and I really wanted to work for. And I would basically follow them, and I would go through and I would actually, you know, I wouldn't do the classic, hey, please go and check out my work. Don't do that. Never. No. Don't ever do that. Please do not do that. Those are the worst things you can possibly do. It will not end. It will not end well. Instead, what I did was like I would see someone would post something about, oh yeah, we just got back from San Diego at this amazing design conference called ValioCon. I would respond with, oh my god, that must have been so great. I would love to hear sometime about how the conference went and everything, and just simply about San Diego. Or like other things like that. And if I continuously, you know, did put input in on people's tweets, or if I, you know, asked questions, people would respond and people would reach out and everything. And for instance, my first job outside college, the founder of the company was actually, we met on Twitter and we chatted on Twitter for the course of 3 months. And then I'm sitting at my aunt's house in the country, sleeping on an air mattress at the time, and I responded to that same tweet that I just mentioned about, you know, ValioCon conference, San Diego, all that stuff, and he then goes and DMs me. He's like, "Hey, we really need to have lunch next week. Let me know when you're free, and then we can like meet up, and I can we'll find a place for you in the company." I was like, what? I actually squealed like a little girl, I will admit. I was like, oh my god. Anyway, like it blew my mind. Like it actually worked. And so you have to be able to do stuff like that. You have to be able to communicate with people, and you have to be able to do more than just create work. You know, because most of the time, especially when you're just starting off, companies, especially like the smaller companies, it's not so much that you are an amazing designer, it's that you're an amazing human being. You know, that you show them that you have the potential in order to grow. Because I can tell you this right now, where I am today, where I was at that point in time is nowhere near where I am today in my career and my skills and everything. Like, I would never have been able to talk to you guys like I am right now. Never. So, excuse me. That kind of answers that question. Let me see. I'm just reading through the comments right here. Okay, so Laura says, you know, with Dribbble, she felt like she really didn't have much of a community. Now she has a year plus experience. Maybe she should go back and give it another go. So, just like with Dribbble, with Instagram, it's all trial and error, to be honest. For instance, like with me, I wasn't really posting a whole lot on Dribbble. I kind of like moved away from it, but I've started to post a lot more. When in the past, I was getting on what was known as the popular page quite a bit on Dribble, and now I'm not really getting on the popular page much at all, and that's because I stopped posting nearly as much, and so it kind of like gave me a little bit of a downward spiral. But I think if you posted like every day, and you had like nice eye-catching illustrations, or very colorful things, you would get attention. It's a long game. It's not a short game. All social media is a long game. Like, you have to keep on posting, you have to keep on being proactive, you have to keep on going. So it's something where it's like, for instance, I have over 8,000 followers on Dribble. It took me a long time to get from 6,000 to 7,000. So it's like, it's a lot of just like playing things by ear. Because, I have a YouTube video on my channel where it's, I think my top 5 tips or something like that on Dribble. I would definitely suggest you go check that out. That might be able to help. But also, it's really just trying what works for you. Because what works for me is not necessarily going to work for you. What works for you might not necessarily work for someone else. So it's really, you just have to keep trying, keep posting, trying to see what sticks. Really with Dribble, community, unfortunately, hasn't really seemed to been a big thing lately. Unless you go and use like multiple social networks at once. So like Dribble, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, things like that. If you use them all together, then you can get into those social groups, and you can start to build a following. But Dribble is not a standalone platform. It's basically, originally it was meant for more of a community. Now it's become more of a place for people to put their work out there to try and bring in more work. Just like Peter is saying in the chat, Dribble is more about spamming your work constantly. It's not so much about the quality of it, but you can make it more about the quality. So it's like, yeah, it's a tricky thing. I actually know a few people who work at Dribble. I got to meet the founder of Dribble and the CEO of Dribble at Epic Currents Winter Work Week a couple weeks ago. Amazing people. I'm hoping to be, possibly chatting with them about some new things that they're trying to put out, and maybe I can help be a little bit of voice of change or something like that. That would be amazing. But yeah, Dribble, it definitely needs some work right now, and I imagine that in the future it will get a lot better. I have hope for it, because Dribble got me my start, so I have to have hope for it. Let's see. How can I take ideas for drawing best? Sometimes I'm trying to make character drawings, but it doesn't look best and perfect. Okay, so Sarwar, so this is like, this kind of goes back to what I say a lot, which is that the only way that you're going to get better at drawing is just to keep practicing and keep drawing. The more you draw, the better you're going to get. And the best example of this is I had a client where I make all of my clients draw. It is you have to draw even if it's stick figures. And this client was so against it, and when he first started drawing for me, like giving me, sharing his ideas with me, they were really bad. Over the course of 9 months, he got way better, and eventually when we were parting ways, unfortunately they were ending their engagement with me, he told me, he was like, listen, I have to thank you because you really pushed me to draw a lot more. Now I carry around with me a sketchbook, and I'm constantly drawing. And we looked through the sketchbook, and it was really good. He was getting better and better over time. So you just have to keep practicing. You can't let any failures or any self-doubt bring you down. You have to keep on practicing. Look at inspiration to help out. You don't have to even share these things with people. Like, you don't have to share your drawing and sketching with people to get critiques. Like, what you can do is just keep on building up your skills by just practicing them every day. I bet you if you were to take 10 to 15 minutes every single day for the next 2 to 3 months, and you draw and you sketch and you practice things, if you look at that first drawing that you did today, and then you look at the one from 2 to 3 months from now, you're gonna see a huge difference in how your style has developed, how your technique has gotten better. So that would be my answer to your question. Let's see, Felicia. Every time I see your name, Felicia, I constantly want to say, bye, Felicia. No, sorry. Felicia asked, any tips for an introvert with no social life besides the internet for learning to communicate better and overcome the stress of public speaking? Okay. First off, you are talking to someone who actually doesn't really have much of a social life beyond the internet. I stay in my home studio and my home most of the time. I try and push myself to go out more and more, but I really don't have many friends in San Diego, so I definitely feel you there. Also, I actually struggle, and this is going to become a shocker for a lot of you people. I suffer from horrible social anxiety, meaning that when I'm in a crowded room of people and I don't know a single person there, it's crippling. It makes me feel really, really bad. It's very, very stressful. So I definitely understand that. Now, the best tips that I can give you on like with being an introvert, because I consider myself an introvert at one point, and I still kind of do, is to put yourself in situations where you have to break out of that shell. For instance, if you can, go to like meetups. Go to meetup.com, find some meetups, whether it's creative stuff or it's things that you love, like movies or games or things like that, and really push yourself to go to these things, talk to people. Trust me, I know for a fact it's going to be hard. It's going to be very hard to do that. For me, when you look at my, you can actually look this up, and I'm shocked I'm going to tell you guys to do this. You can actually look it up on YouTube, Rocky Rourke and ValioCon. You can see my first talk ever. Now, that talk versus what I'm doing now and how I'm able to talk to you guys or how I'm able to teach workshops and things like that is way, way different. And what it is just like you have to put yourself in those situations. You have to, push yourself, and you will eventually be able to do a lot better. You'll be able to speak a lot better. You'll be able to, easily go and, hang out with people. Even to this day, like I still suffer from bad social anxiety, but I push it down so deep that, and I've actually showed this to people. I'll go to events and I'll be talking to people and things like that, and I'll be like, I'll tell them I have horrible social anxiety, and they're like, what are you talking about? Then I'll go and show them my hand. Right now, my hand is steady. When I'm at a conference or things like that, and I'm talking to people and a lot of people that I don't know, my hand is like this. And that's because I push all of my social anxiety down, and it manifests in a slight tremor in my hands when I'm in a big group of people. So that, like, I go through the same things, but really it just comes down, to pushing yourself, getting yourself out there. I would suggest that, you do the meetups, then eventually, depending on what it is you do, because I don't know what you do, try and see if you can't like talk to a group of people, or if you're at a company or something like that, if you can like do like a, teach them something that you've learned, push yourself to do stuff like that. And it's a lot easier to do it in front of people that you know versus people that you don't know. And like, for instance, I myself, like, I try to do these live streams and everything. But my first live stream, I was nervous as hell. Excuse the language. I was so nervous when I first did my live stream with Adobe back in August that when I did my first line on the iPad, my hand was like this. It was just like so shaky. Now, when you look at this past live stream that I was on, it was fun. It was amazing. Like, it went so well. So it just takes time, practice, and, and again, it also comes down to those same three things. Passion. You have to be passionate about, breaking out of your shell, about doing things that you might not normally do, making more friends, or just like speaking more in front of people. You have to be positive that things are going to be okay. They're going to be rough at the start, but you know you're very positive that things are going to go great. And you also have to be creative about how in the world you're going to break yourself out of your shell. Man, those three things cover so much. All right. Let's see. No problem, Sarwar. Hope that really helps. Let's see. Sounds like you're a perfect guy. Yeah, see, like, I'm glad that I could help, Felicia. Hopefully that helps. And if you want any other tips or stuff like that, please reach out to me. I'm an open book. I love to help people out. Christian. All right, so yes, what were your early challenges as a freelance designer and illustrator, and how did you overcome them? Whew, okay, so, let's see. So I've been, just to give you guys a little bit of background in case you guys don't know, I've been doing design, graphic arts, illustration, stuff like that since I was in high school. And so I've been doing it for, let's see, 14, 15 years now. I think, though, in college was really when my career really started to progress. And so my biggest struggles were just like the business of things. Yeah, business was definitely a big thing because I didn't do contracts. I really trusted people a lot. And I ended up not getting paid for my work a lot of times. There were many times where I did not get paid for my work. And even to this day, like, I probably, it's just like a small little bit, but I am probably still owed maybe about $2,000 over the course of like 7-8 projects from when I was in college and even high school. But definitely, like, business was the biggest thing that was a challenge early on. And it's something that I still to this day, like, this now I'm a lot better about business. I read a ton of books. For instance, like on my desk here, I'm right now pushing myself to do more social media and be more fluent on like Facebook and Twitter and things like that. Hence the reason why I'm now pushing, the Facebook group and my Facebook page and all these other things. But definitely, like, business was the biggest challenge. Also, a challenge was just like, as some of you guys can definitely relate, like, I did not believe my work was good enough. Like, I was always feeling down about it, and I was always pushing myself. And I think that if you meet someone who says that they had no challenges when they were first starting off, run. They are liars. They are scam artists. They don't know what the heck they're talking about. Because no matter what, you are going to have challenges. You are going to have moments where you're like, oh my God, my work sucks. I'm not going to be successful. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to, make it. And that's fine. That's healthy. Like, you're going to have those moments of doubt. And so those are, that's a challenge that everybody faces. I faced it. You will face it if you haven't already. Like, you will face all of those challenges. The thing is to figure out how in the world are you going to overcome those feelings? How are you going to make those feelings null and void? And so that's what you have to do. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that jumps out to me. Yeah, I think those were like the biggest challenges, the business, and also just like the imposter syndrome type situation. Hopefully that answers your question, Christian. Let's see. Actually, I do not play the guitar. I have a guitar back there. I do not know how to play it. I've tried to learn to play the guitar probably about 3 or 4 times now. I just don't have the time. I eventually would love to learn the guitar. I have the guitar back here in my bedroom. I have a ukulele. Like, I would love to learn how to play the guitar, but I just, like, don't have the time for it at the moment. Plus, like, the whole dexterity, thing right here. This hand is so weird. It just, like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever be able to play the guitar. Let's see. Felicia, no problem, Felicia. I'm glad that I could help. And trust me, like, over time, you will, like, that whole nervousness, shakiness will go away. It's something that it will definitely hit you for a long time, but it will eventually go away. Let's see. Also, guys, in just a little while, we will be moving on to the next thing, which is the portfolio review. If you guys have not done so, please, if you want me to review and critique your work, definitely check out the link down in the show notes. It's www.rockyrook.com/live-stream-Friday. Check that out. Submit your portfolio, and I will review it live on the live stream today. Right now, we only have one submission to the portfolio review. It would be great if more people could submit. I would love to do at least 3 of these portfolio reviews. If more people submit, then we will possibly do more. So just a reminder, guys, please definitely do that. Calling out Felicia, put yourself out there, submit your work. Christian, submit your work too if you would like to. Just trying to push you guys. Let's see. I need to get some more water. Also, once again, I am also giving away a free pass to Creative South 2018. In order to win this free pass, this does not include airfare or hotel. This is just a free pass to the conference. In order to win this free pass, you have to be a member of my mailing list. Next week, during the live stream, I will announce the winner, and I will also announce a few runners-up, just in case the winner cannot go to the conference. But in order to be entered to win the contest, all you have to do is just be a member of my mailing list. And in order to do so, you can easily go down to the show notes and do rockyrook.com/CS18. If you are already signed up for my mailing list, then you are already entered to win. You do not have to sign up again. If you also submit your portfolio to the portfolio review today, you are automatically entered to win because you are automatically entered into my my mailing list. Okay. Let's see. Roland, please, by all means, you can submit that. That's fine. If you also have drawings or sketches on Instagram or any other site, you can also submit those as well. That's perfectly fine. Let's see. Garrett, can you share your process of starting a client project, initial communications, contract pricing? Hold on one second. Felicia, I'm checking on that right now. So far, I only have Laura. Laura submitted. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, Laura is the only one submitted. Felicia, you actually, one thing to also remember is that you have to confirm in your email. If you check your email, you should have a confirmation about signing up for the portfolio review. You have to confirm that, I believe, in order for it to show up. Hamid, you just go down in the show notes. There's a link. Actually, here, I'll copy it just in case you guys cannot see it. But all you have to do is just submit your portfolio to the page right here, and you will be entered for the portfolio review. Okay. It looks like only one person has actually submitted, or excuse me, hold on. 1 second. We have 3. All right, so we have Laura, we have Felicia, and we have Yaya? Is that how you pronounce it? Unique Musique. Yep, I have you. So we have 3 submissions for the portfolio review. Okay, so while the rest of you are getting that that filled out and submitted, and remember there is a confirmation email. Excuse me. There is a confirmation email. Check your emails and your spam folders for the confirmation. You have to confirm in order for it to be submitted. That might be the reason why that some of them have not gone through. Because right now there are. Oh wait, Garrett, yours has now gone through. Okay. So we have four people in the portfolio review right now. Okay, so Garrett, I'm gonna try to answer this question in 10 minutes because that's all we have before we need to switch over to the portfolio review. And every time I start talking, my throat starts itching. Okay. So, basically, the way that my projects pretty much like start is usually clients will come in a few different ways. Usually one, it's a referral. Either a previous client, a friend, or someone that I follow will refer them directly to me, or they will find me naturally through social media. You know, Instagram, Dribble, Behance. They might find my website or my YouTube channel. But those are like the two main ones, and then also I do reach out to clients as well. I do cold emails, and also people do meet me at conferences as well, and that also helps create those connections. So those are like how that people come and reach out to me. What I will do is whenever someone sends me an inquiry, I always respond to them. And I can usually tell within like the first email whether or not they're going to be a qualified lead, whether they're going to end up being an actual project. And so what I will do is I will actually, depending on how it is, I always respond. And I let them know if they ask, budget or things like that. I'll let them know a rough estimate on like how much the project might run. Usually I'll say between X dollars and Y dollars, and then I'll say to them, if you're interested in starting the project, please let me know, or how do I put it? If that works for you, then then let's schedule a time to chat. I'll either ask them what time works best for them, or I'll send them a link to my calendar, and they can choose what time works for them. And then I'll send that off. Now that helps weed out the people who don't value my work or don't have the right budget for my work. Because a lot of times I'll get people who are coming to me like, "Hey, how much for a logo for a lipstick company?" Yeah, that sounds like a promising lead. And so I will respond to them. I'm like, okay, branding projects start between $2,000 and can go as much as $10,000. If you're interested, we can definitely set up a call. Here's my calendar if you would like to find a time that works best for you. I can tell you right now that person is not going to respond to that email. And the reason why is because they're looking for a project that you would find on like 99 Designs or Fiverr. They're looking for a logo for probably about $100, which is something I just don't do. It's not worth my time. And I might sound a little cold when I say that. It's because my time is more valuable than $100 for a logo, because a logo design or just a branding project in general can take anywhere from 2 weeks to 2 months, and it has a lot of things involved into it. That if I did a project for $100 for a logo, even if I just did 1 week's worth of work, then I missed out on a week's worth of projects that probably could have brought in 10 to 100 times as much as that project. I do help out friends, and I do offer discounts. I had a project recently that I just started involving this really, really awesome lady. She wanted me to do. Actually, I can't really talk about what we're doing because it's actually an in progress project. But the project was instantly, as soon as she was telling me about it and everything, got super excited, and I actually lowered the price of the project by $2,000 just so we could work together. That's how much I wanted to work on this project, and so I lowered the cost of it to fit that. Now, when you're just starting off and everything, you should take the smaller projects, but don't sell yourself short. To give you guys an idea, and I don't normally talk about pricing too much unless it's like one-on-one, but to give you guys an idea, branding projects for me run, like I said, between $2,000 to $10,000. Illustration projects between usually $1,000 to as much as the highest project I've ever had with illustration was $10,000. And if a project, if someone comes to me and let's say it's a returning client or something like that, they need something quickly that would only be like $500 to $800, I will do that. But if it's a new project or a new client that I haven't worked with before, I won't do any projects with them for less than $1,000. And that's just simply, that's my cap to make sure, that my time is valued and everything. And the more things that I do in a project, the more like discounts I kind of give. So like, for instance, if someone came to me for like a header illustration, I would probably charge them, just for a header illustration, $800 to $1,000, maybe more. But if they came to me for like a header illustration, some supporting illustrations, I would probably charge them $1,500 to $2,000, which is a little bit of a discount when you think about all the elements that are within that. So this is the first time I've ever mentioned this stuff live, and that's because I don't like to talk about it too much. But I thought I would share that with you guys. Let's see. One second. Let me check the portfolios. Hamid, I see that you submitted. Okay, great. All right. So we have 5 portfolios. But yeah, so Garrett, hopefully that answers a bit of your question. I'm not going to go too much more into detail on that. I see that you did ask about the cold emails. I've had very little success. I've actually have not had but one project come from a cold email. So I don't know. I wouldn't say that they're extremely successful. I think that they're a little bit successful. But we will see. Again, cold emails is really the long game. That's really what that is. Okay, so let's see. Based on your last name, I'm going to say you're German, so I'm going to say it's probably Yule. I want to buy a new Wacom drawing tablet or an iPad Pro with an Apple Pencil. What do you think is the best? I'm going to say 100%, hands down, the iPad Pro is going to be your best option. And the biggest reason for that is because it's more, you can bring it with you a lot easier. You can carry it around with you. It's lighter. It doesn't take up as much room. If you were to buy a Cintiq for about the same amount, you would have all these annoying cords that you would have to carry around with you. You can easily mirror your iMac or MacBook Pro screen using AstroPad. I use AstroPad Studio, which is a monthly subscription, and you can mirror them easily, no problem. I think that should definitely. I really feel like, and I really tell a lot of people, go with the iPad Pro because it also, you can do so much more with it than you can a Cintiq or any other Wacom tablet. Because if, let's say, you're not working on drawing, if you want to work on writing, or if you need to check emails, or if you are bored and want to watch Netflix, you've got that for you. You don't have to worry about having a computer connected to it. So that's my suggestion. Go with the iPad Pro 100%. Let's see. Roland, hopefully that... Let me check to see if you are in the portfolio. All right, so we have Laura, Felicia, Yaya. I'm guessing that's how you pronounce it. Garrett and Hamid. 5 portfolios in here right now. Roland, if you definitely check your spam folder because I think they might end up in there. No problem, Garrett. I'm glad I could help. Okay. Let me just check a couple things real quick. Okay, so Christian, thank you so much, Christian. You're asking, do you think Apple will go totally pro with the iPad and make a 15-inch version and make an Apple official AstroPad supplement? Oh, okay. So, I am hoping 100% that Apple is going to come out with a bigger iPad Pro. I'm actually hoping for a 17-inch, a 17-inch iPad Pro. To be honest, that's what I am hoping for. Do I feel like they're going to come out with an Apple official AstroPad supplement? I do not believe they will. There's other things out there besides AstroPad you can also use. But AstroPad is coming out with a new thing called Luna Display, which is a dongle that you plug up into your computer, whether it's an iMac or a MacBook Pro, and it will actually turn your iPad Pro into a second display, meaning that it will work as if it was a monitor, a touch monitor. So that is coming from AstroPad. Excuse me. So that is coming. In fact, I was part of their Kickstarter, so I have 2 of those coming. One for my iMac and one for my MacBook Pro. So I think, like, I don't know if Apple would ever create a supplement for it, but I definitely am hoping that Apple is coming out with a larger iPad Pro. If they announced tomorrow that they were coming out with a 15 or 7 or especially a 17-inch iPad Pro, I would be in line tomorrow to buy that thing. Like, I want that so bad. Villo. Okay, Villo. Hamid, you don't have to have a website. You can share with me a link to your Instagram, Dribble, Behance, whatever it is. Let's see. Hello, Junior. Yeah, sometimes the confirmation emails do take a little while, so I do apologize. But it looks like we do have more. We have, let's see, we have Amy and we have Christian. So we have a total of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we have seven people here. I don't know if I'll be able to get through all of these. I will try to get through as much as possible. Let's see. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to start with the first people who submitted. I'm going to work my way down. And I'm going to try and spend enough time with each of you guys as possible. So hopefully, you know, everybody who submitted is still in here. Laura, I hope you're in here because you're going to be first. Additionally, if you guys have any questions, please post them in the chat. I will try and get to it. Okay. So we're going to start. I'm going to move this over here. Actually, I need to move that over. How am I going to do this? Okay, so I'm going to have to move the YouTube chat over. Put this to full screen. Sorry guys, I'm setting up this now. Awesome, Laura. Okay, so I need to get my keyboard. All right. Actually, sorry, I'm trying to figure out what will be the best way to set this up. All right, so we're going to start with Laura. Just grabbing the link to her Instagram. All right, hopefully, there we go. Okay. So I'm gonna have to like switch back and forth. So I have 2 monitors up right now, but we're gonna start with Laura. All right, so Laura says, I built my Instagram account as a way to hold myself accountable, pun intended. Um, I do watercolors mostly, some digital, and I try to share illustrations that feel close to my heart. On brand, some may say. I see portraits on Etsy, I sell portraits on Etsy, but really feel like I could. Oh, and it cut off. Okay, so I actually follow Laura. Um, like I said before, Laura asked some of the best questions on Instagram, in my opinion. I'm just going to scroll through her account here. Laura, I think I will say this. Instantly, I love your color palette. Like, when I scroll through here, when we start at the top here and we scroll all the way through, if we just unfocus our eyes, everything here feels like it goes well together. Every single illustration and everything just flows perfectly together. Like, you're doing an amazing job, especially with your color selections and everything. I would say that you might want to not do so much of these selfies in here. I think they're okay to interject from time to time. I think that you're definitely doing a great job with your illustrations. I love like these posts here where you show like a bunch of things at once. Let's see. Let me go up to your latest ones. Let's click in here. So you're getting quite a few great numbers and likes. That's really good. You have 1,347 followers, and you're constantly getting, between 150 and 200 likes per post. That's really good. Let's see. I'm looking at your hashtags right now. Let's see. So I think that one thing that, let's see, I don't know how, I'm not going to try and count how many hashtags you're using here. Try and keep it below 25 because the Instagram algorithm will actually penalize you if you have more than 25 hashtags. So I would suggest that you maybe trim these down a bit. I would also say that you might want to be more targeted with your hashtags. So like, for instance, like Meet the Maker, Called to be Creative, March Me the Maker, like things like that. I don't know if they're gonna bring you a lot of discovery, but stuff like this, like Illustrator, art, kidlit art, things like that, like those are definitely gonna do it. Also, Insta art, all one word, that is also a big one that you can definitely use. I think those are really gonna help you out a lot if you keep posting like that. I am interested because I'm wondering, when you started, how long have you been doing this channel would be a great question I would ask you, Laura. I would also wonder how much growth you're seeing in followers, because it's really interesting because I'm looking at your posts, and I'm seeing like all of these hashtags, and I'm wondering why you don't have more followers, because honestly I feel like you should have anywhere from 5 to 10,000 followers right now, just depending on how long you've been doing this. So I don't know, like, I definitely think it's a good idea that you moved away from having your hashtags in the comments. That could be one thing. It looks like you are responding to people's comments. So one thing to also remember for everybody for Instagram is when you respond to comments, they need to be 4 words or longer. So don't just put emojis. Actually write a sentence per comment. Like for instance, if someone just posts emojis on your comments, respond like, "Hey, thank you so much. I'm glad that you like it." Something along those lines. It can be, you can mix it up, change things up, but try and do that. But I definitely think that you're doing a great job, Laura. I think that there's really not much for me to help you with. Maybe just Instagram strategy, which we can talk about some other time. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next person. Thank you so much, Laura. Round of applause, everybody, for Laura. Let's see. All right, so now we're going to go on to the next person. All right, Felicia is up. Okay. Felicia with a Behance profile. Alright, so Felicia says, I've been building my portfolio for about a year. I'm a graphic designer and letterer. Just started making stickers with my lettering and have a Facebook group of 10,000 people that are giving me ideas of what they want lettered and making purchases. Wow. Felicia, I'm definitely going to be reaching out to you because I would love to talk to you more about that. I think it's really cool that you're doing that. So really, really cool. Okay. So, going off of that, the fact that you say that, you're a graphic designer and letterer, let me ask you, Felicia, if you could respond in the chat. I'll try and read it. Let me know, like, what it is that you want to accomplish with your portfolio. Like, are you wanting to find more projects involving lettering, or are you wanting other types of projects? So I'm gonna go ahead and click in here. We're gonna stay away from the inappropriate posts on the left. I really like this. I like the use of color. I'm wondering, did you do these floral illustrations yourself, or was it something that you found? I think that instantly the number one thing I can say is this gradient back here, it distracts me. I feel like this should just be white, and we should just be seeing this here and maybe not have it to where it's cropped off. I think because right now when we look at this gradient, it's very muddy because we see the pink and the green, and then right in the middle here, there's like this grayish color. I'm not the biggest fan of gradients, I can tell you that right now, and that's one of the reasons why. Because then when we go down here and we see this like beautiful illustrations and lettering on top of white. This looks really good. I really love this. I think that this looks really good. I think when you see stuff like this, it kind of distracts from it. I would also suggest when you do things like this, try not to do borders like this, because like you have these colorful letters, these colorful illustrations, and then you have this like dark gray border. I would have done this in white, and I would have also made it a lot thinner. I would have matched the stroke. See the stroke of the lettering here. I think it's probably going to be much better for you in the future. I think that would make this project even better in my opinion. Let's see. Felicia says, I would love to find more projects involving lettering. That would be awesome. Okay. So the number one thing I'm going to suggest to you is that you need to definitely do more projects, or show more projects involving lettering. I think that's going to be probably your best bet. I think that also checking out hand lettering artists might be a good thing for you as well. I'm going to go and show you right now. I actually have on my Pinterest page. Let's see. I have, like, here's one. I've got a couple different ones on here, but here I have a typography one with a lot of inspiration for like hand lettering and things like that. I would definitely suggest that you check that out because it will give you a lot of inspiration on things that you can try. I would also suggest that you maybe try to go sometimes a little bit less digital, and maybe try to use, let me see, I'm trying to see if I have any in my drawer around me. I don't. Try and use like brush pens and things like that. I think that would also be a great thing for you to try. Because like right now, I can see like in some of these, like in, for instance, this one that we're not going to click on, this one here, especially in that typeface right there, like those things really jump out to me. And I can see that you want to do hand lettering, but I feel like right now this feels like a college student's portfolio. I think that if you really blow things out and you really try things on Instagram and things like that. In fact, I'm going to click on your Instagram. Um, there we go with the bad words. I think that you have so much potential and you can do a lot, especially since you have this following on that Facebook group, because 10,000 people on a Facebook group is amazing, and I think that you have so much potential in doing that, and I think that's another reason why I definitely want to chat with you. So I definitely will be reaching out to you via email sometime real soon. So great job on this. I think that you have a lot. You do have a lot to work on, but I think that I definitely see a good future for you. So great job, Felicia. And hopefully it's not by Felicia. You probably get that a lot. You probably hate that movie. Okay. All right. So next we have Villo. Let's see. All right, so I am aiming to get into full-time graphic design. Right now, my portfolio is very limited, and I haven't been designing for very long, but I have work to add to it, and I will be expanding on it over time. So, Villo, if you could definitely let me know what it is that you want your portfolio to accomplish, like besides just getting your name out there and sharing your work, that would be great. Let's see. Let's look at the logos, which I think is what we're looking at right now. So instantly, what I can tell you is, for one, I really like the Villo one. I think the Villo one's really good. I think that you actually need to get rid of or expand this little area between these lines here, because right now, like when you make it super small, it's just going to blend together. So I think that you should just blend it or increase the distance between these two. But I really like this. I like that it looks like it is a gradient. See, you did really good with your gradient here. That's a gradient I can actually get behind. I think, though, the one thing when you share these types of projects is that you need to share more than just one image. You need to share the process behind it. Like, share any sketches that you had, share any thoughts that you had behind it, because process is king. Images is nothing without talking about the process behind them. That goes for both looking for client work, and that also goes for when you're looking for potential jobs as well. Because clients and creative directors, they're going to want to see like your thought process behind the things that you create, more than just seeing the actual things. So I think I would definitely suggest that. Let's see. Let's look at the next banners. No images. Infographics. No images. UI UX design. Okay, so here we have some. So, in looking at this, like, also I would suggest when you have stuff like this, when you're trying to show a breadth of different things, I would almost try and hone in on one specific thing, because honestly, it's okay to be a jack of all trades. I think it's a good thing, but I would also suggest that you focus. Like, if you want to be a branding designer, show branding, but you can also show a couple of projects for UI UX. But you need to make sure that branding is more upfront and visual. I think, it looks like right here, I'm a little confused by seeing some of these things here. Like I said before, like just having one image in here, it doesn't really do a whole lot. You need to share process and also show more than one image. Because when I click in here and I just see the one little thing, it doesn't really tell me exactly what you're creating. I think that you really need to... actually, I really think you probably need to maybe even redo your website, because like when I click on these things, it shouldn't just pop up an image and then a thing to click to view the full image, because that doesn't really do much at all. I would suggest that what you do is like, if you actually built this website, congrats. I think that's really great. But I think you need to be able to, when they click in here, you should have text off to the side here, talking about what this is for. Because right now, like, besides just seeing Articus, like, that doesn't tell me what this brand is for or anything like that. So you need to definitely, you need a lot more context within your portfolio. Otherwise, you might as well just have a Dribble profile or a Behance profile. And even those might even be better for you because they allow you to add in process, show sketches, talk about the different things that you're doing and things like that. So that would be my big suggestion for your work. And just in general with your UI UX stuff, just showing a single image and not talking about what it is that you were trying to do is not going to be as impactful. You actually have to talk about what your thought process is behind the UI and UX stuff that you're creating. That's definitely a major point for UI UX. So, but still, like, good job. Like, I like the website. I like your use of color and everything like that. I think that you just need to be able to share your work a little bit better and expand upon it too. So those are my suggestions, Villo. Okay, so let's see. I think we have time for one more. Let's see. And we have Garrett. Garrett, you made the cut. And by the way, if any of you guys are not in here, that's okay. I will. This will be posted later on, so you can go back and re-listen to it. All right. Come on, Chrome. Be nice to me. There we go. Let's see. All right, so we have Garrett here. And Garrett just says, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Garrett, if you could please let me know in the comments, in the chat, what it is that you want to accomplish with your site. That would be great. Okay, first off, I love how, like, even in the chat you had your bull cow character forefront as your avatar. By the way, little nitpicky thing here. Looks like there's a little bit of blue peeking through here. In screen printing, they call that the butt cut. So you might want to fix that up at these larger sizes. I like also that you have Garrett in here. And it looks like you have a B as well. So it's like you have Garrett, and then you have your last name, which starts with B. I'm not going to say it in case you don't want me to. All right, let's see. So I would definitely suggest that when you come to your homepage, that you should definitely have some of your work instantly here. You have this here as your first little bit of work, but you also need to show something here because right now you're just talking about your services and looking at your portfolio, but you need a little something extra down here. You could even include like maybe some social media stuff as well. So like images from your Instagram. Okay, so this is basically it links directly when you click on profile, links directly to your Dribble profile. Does it also link to that when you click on work? Okay, so I would definitely suggest that it's okay to have a profile on Dribble, but I would also suggest that you create an actual portfolio page on your site as well. So I think it's really cool that you have this real vector style, vector flat style. I think it's really cool. I definitely see influences from a bunch of other illustrators, so that's perfectly fine. Let's see. So right here, like you talk a little bit, digging through my hard drives lately, sharing, updating some older portfolio work. Let me know what you think. Okay, so I'm gonna give you the same advice that I gave to was it Vilo? I can't remember. Sorry. You also need to the biggest problem, like right now when I look at this, I think it's good. I think that you have a great start here, but here's the problem that I have. When we click into here, all we see is the same stuff that you paste into your dribble shots, and so we're only seeing seeing the names here. We're only seeing these like little things like digging through my hard drives lately. That is not going to be helpful to a potential client or to a potential boss. You need to talk about what it is we're seeing here, because right now, like, you're just saying well fit branding update. You're not talking about, you know, what well fit is. You know, I can guess it's maybe something to do with nutrition and fitness, but you definitely need to explain what we're seeing here, because that's going to help out tremendously. Another reason why you should probably create your own portfolio pages is because of the fact that you can share a lot more, because right now you have this here. I would love to see about 5 other images that show, you know, the process behind it. It also shows variants and other things like that, because just showing one-off things is not going to be as impactful. Let's see. Yeah, so that's going to be my biggest suggestion there. I think overall, like, you know, seeing stuff like this is really cool. You're showing a variety of things. You have a nice variety of color, so it's nice. It grabs your attention and everything. Can everybody hear me? I just want to make sure, because Laura says that you can't hear me. Everything seems to be good on YouTube. I don't know if you guys can hear. Anyway, so I would definitely suggest that you need to break out of having your stuff on here. Because you need to explain what it is you're doing. Because, like, look at this. Like, you can see on the screen here, we have this giant area of just like white gray, and then we have this small image here. You can't even click on it to enlarge it. It's not maximizing the space. It's not very good. So definitely look into to doing this. I definitely think that will help you out tremendously. Hey, John. Okay. So yeah, so that's my thing. Is like, really, Garrett, you need to go through and you need to create an actual page for this, and you really need to do a little bit. Yeah, you really need to create your own page, and you need to talk about the projects more. You need to share the process of it, just like I suggested to Villo. So I would definitely suggest that. Okay. So let me switch back to my webcam. Thank you guys so much for submitting your portfolios. We had 9 people total who submitted. Don't worry, in the next couple of weeks, I will be going through and doing more of these portfolio reviews. I want to start spending the last 30 minutes of the live stream doing these portfolio reviews, because I feel like it's very beneficial for all of you. It helps you out a lot more. So I really hope that you guys continue to submit. Next week, I will start off again with the same people. We're just going to go in row, possibly, depending on if you guys are in the chats. So that means you guys should definitely show up next week to the live stream. Let me go through the chat just to see what I missed, because I wasn't able to focus it too much on it. Let's see. Oh, Laura, I wish I was eating a cookie right now. Let's see. Yeah, Laura, like, don't worry about hashtags. Like, hashtags definitely takes practice and work. You definitely need to do some research on it. And if you have questions with it, I can definitely help you with that. Yeah, and exactly what Felicia said, actually. What she said about copying hashtags. Like, copy some hashtags. Don't copy all the hashtags. And use those, and those should definitely help you out. Awesome. I love the fact that there's this, like, discussion going on in the background in the chat. This is really cool. I'm glad that you guys are communicating. But it's basically, it's getting to that time. I want to thank everybody who came to today's live stream. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys had as much fun as I did. I know we jumped all over the place, but I answered a lot of questions. I was able to look at 4 people's amazing portfolios. Keep up the good work. Keep pushing yourself and keep, just like doing great. So, as always, I always leave you guys with the same 3 things. Always remember to be passionate, be positive, and be creative. You heard earlier in the stream, why those things are important, how you guys can implement those things in your daily lives. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. Once again, remember that there is a giveaway going on right now for Creative South. So if you guys follow the link down in the show notes, you sign up for that. If you guys submit your work, you're already in the running to win. One lucky person will win a free pass to Creative South. I'm going to choose it randomly next week during the live stream. And also, if you guys are interested, if you guys are on Facebook, you can find my Facebook page. And you can especially find the Daily Drawing Lessons Facebook group. It should be at the very bottom of the show notes below. Please go and please join that group. I'm going to be posting in it constantly, and I would love for you guys to have discussions in there as well, like you guys are doing here. You guys are doing, I love this. I love how many people are in here right now. It makes me not want to go, but I've got so much to do today. But yeah, it's so great that all you guys joined me. All of you guys were on the stream. I'm glad you guys had fun. I had fun, and I'm going to leave you with the same thing as always. Stay passionate, stay positive, and stay creative, everybody. Have a great weekend. I hope to see you guys here next weekend. Or next week. Next Friday. There we go. All right, everybody. Have a great day. Bye.